We'll go ahead and call our Wednesday, December 13, 2023 Roanoke County School Board meeting in session. Madam Clerk, can you call the roll, please?
Mr. Linden?
Yes, ma'am.
Ms. Fachani?
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Ray?
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Greenway?
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Hudson?
Yes, ma'am. If I can have everybody stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance. Item 2, announcement of changes in the agenda. Anybody have anything?
Mr. Chairman,
Yes, sir, Mr. Ray.
I move that we approve the agenda as presented.
Second?
Madam Clerk?
Mr. Linden?
Yes, ma'am.
Ms. Fachani?
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Ray?
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Greenway?
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Hudson?
Yes, ma'am. Item 3.01, recognition of Cave Spring High School 3A VHSL State Champion Cheer Team. Ms. Haley Dees.
Go Knights. Good job, girls. No wonder y'all won. You got so many.
Good evening, Mr. Chairman, Board, and guests, both attending and present and streaming. Tonight, I have the pleasure and the honor of recognizing this group of amazing ladies and their coaches. This is the 14th consecutive trip to states that our cheer team has made. In those 14 trips, we have 5 state titles in the last 9 years. Tonight, we are here to recognize them as state champions once again. These ladies not only exemplify what it means to be athletes, but they are students first. This team represents what it means to be a knight and live with pride and respect and honor for their community and their school. They represent themselves well in our school as school leaders. And at this time, I'm going to ask the coach, Jen Cole, to come up and introduce our ladies. And we would also like to recognize her as Coach of the Year.
Thank you, guys, and thank you for having us tonight. It's an honor to be here each time we're invited, so we really appreciate it. And thanks to Mrs. Dees for also being here tonight. This season was extremely special. We had a very young team as a whole, so we came into it knowing that we had to put in a lot of extra work, and these kids started that the second that we started outside workouts and never stopped and are still doing things even out of season. So they deserve this moment, and we're really proud of them. And I'm just going to go straight down the line, starting here. We do have 2 absent tonight. One is ill, and one is out of town, so we'll recognize them as well. We have Bianca Shelton, Braylon Wood, Ashton Borgman, Katie Lefwich, Kaylin Rogers, Annabelle Croy, Emery Weld, Kinsley Trivet, Abby Wolford, Brooke Majors, Hannah Connor, Elijah Reeves, Reagan Shively, Liza Dimachowski, Isabella Derica, Ava Livingston, CJ Graham, Amalia Midkiff, and missing this evening is, Reagan Nash, and also Piper Dickerson. And we have also our coaches, Katie Weeks, Abby Holbrook, who's recent athlete turned coach, and Taryn Mabry. And I want to also recognize Reagan Shively for obtaining the high distinction of Cheerleader of the Year. So that's exciting. Mr. Ray.
Okay. Well, I've got, y'all are used to spotlight, right? Y'all are so popular, so. And we thank you so much. It's quite an honor and over the years. And the coach and everyone involved, the parents, you know, it's a team. So we really do. Y'all put a lot of work into it. Don't ever say that cheerleading is not athletic. That is, if you see these girls in action, it is just, it's precision and accuracy. If they're in a position and they move their finger, it counts against them. I mean, that's how technical it is. So, Ms. Deeds, thank you. We appreciate it. I will not go back through the names.
You're fine, we'll handle it.
It'll take me a while, and I'm sure the board members will say, hurry up.
Oh, you're good. We appreciate
We'll
it.
get those out, and we'll hear us out back. So, we'd like to get a picture, and, you know, with everyone, and Chuck got a wide angle. Any of the parents that are here that would like to get a picture?
Just let them do it.
Let Mike.
Go ahead, you're fine.
Yeah, go ahead, Mike.
You got it. Stand up, Mike.
I think we need to have Mike doing the double flip over.
Can somebody hoist Mike in the air? Sorry, like I couldn't resist. I know you are.
There we go. That'll work. Don't go anywhere. Anyone else?
Come on,
Come on.
come on. Yeah. That's right. Come
Make
on
the
up.
front row work those timeless.
All right, girls. What do we say? You didn't say it. There we go.
All right. All right, girls.
Oh, God.
Congratulations, Jim.
Congratulations.
Don't spring that on me without getting ready.
You ready? You want me to hold that? That would be lovely. Yeah. You don't want to break it.
Oh, wait, like most kids are shit?
Oh, really? They're giddy with joy.
Fired up, Cave Spring, let's go! 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 Let's go, Lions!
Mr. Chairman, the only thing that would have made that better is if Mike would have been doing the tongue.
Yeah. Yeah.
We were waiting on it, Mike.
Have you got the emergency personnel available?
Congratulations, ladies. Item 3.02, recognition to Mr. Jason Sheff and the Alan and Michelle Sheff Family Fund for donation towards student lunch debt. Miss Jamie Estrada.
Good evening, Mr. Chairman, members of the board, and Dr. Nicely. It's my honor tonight to introduce you to Mr. Jason Sheff. Mr. Sheff, will you join me? At the end of last school year, Mr. Sheff made a generous donation of $101,000 on behalf of the Alan and Michelle Sheff Family Fund to pay off the school meal debt for all students in Roanoke County schools. To introduce you to Mr. Sheff, he grew up in a suburb of Buffalo, New York, and his family always taught him about the importance of giving back to the community. Jason moved to Roanoke with his husband Simon last year for a new job. And a number of years ago, Jason had read about the impact of accumulating school lunch debt and the stigma and shame that can accompany it. When he and Simon moved to Roanoke and learned about the meal debt, they wanted to do something to help. On behalf of the Roanoke County community, I would like to extend our heartfelt thanks to Mr. Sheff and to Mr. Jerome for thinking of us and the students of Roanoke County. You've really impacted the community and done a tremendous thing for us. Thank you. Very small program. Thank you.
I'm sure some folks would like to say some nice thank yous.
Yes, thank
Start, Mike.
you, Mr. Chairman. We should have kept the cheerleaders in here for that. Wow. Thank you so much. You just don't know what this does for kids. And you do know because you did it. But, kids that are not able to maybe, buy their lunches, well, we're not going to turn any away. We're still going to give them lunches no matter what. But to do this and retire the debt, it's incredible. Thank you to the family, and thank you so much for seeing the need in our community and stepping up. And we do really so much appreciate that. Thank you. Thank you.
Absolutely, Mr. Chairman. Thank you. You said that so well, Mr. Ray. Thank you so much. Our kids are indebted to you in our community. Thank you so much. That was a wonderful, wonderful gesture. Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you, Mr. Sheff. It truly is just an amazing gesture on your behalf, and I know that the families and the students here in Roanoke County truly appreciate it. Thank you.
Mr. Chairman. So I have to be honest, I had to Google Jason Sheff. You know who I came up with? Ken? Dr. Nicely? He's a singer. And Dr. Nicely said, I don't think that's him, Cheryl. We did have the cheerleaders here tonight. So thank you so much for your family, your foundation, what you do for communities like us. I was a little surprised myself because I was reading about the lunch debt that different divisions had incurred. And when I actually asked our staff, what is our debt? And they told me, I think all of our jaws hit the ground. So we're going to be good stewards of your donation and make sure moving forward that we're using every bit of money that we have in the right way, right fashion, and that our kids continue to get good lunches. And the staff, oh my gosh, she's doing an amazing job. And we're really excited. And I just want you to know, based on your initiative, kind of led me down a couple rabbit holes. And one of them is that other divisions run pilot programs and they give their unused or untouched, perfectly good food to other organizations that may need it, like our local rescue mission, Salvation Army, and we're piloting a program. And really, a lot of that spun off of your donation and the awareness. So thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Sheff. Would you mind if we take a photo with you? I appreciate it. I'd love to shake your hand as well. Thank you so much.
Where's Jamie? Jamie? Mr. Chairman,
Yes, sir.
since it's my last meeting, I figure I can do what I
Giving you
want
free
to.
rein, Mike. You got it.
What I want to do tonight. Would you just tell what we're doing with the food over the holidays that we may not use and some things that are happening with your program with that, please?
Yes, sir. So we will be collecting all the perishable items that would not last over the winter break, and we will be transporting those to the Rescue Mission and Salvation Army next week to divide so that it goes to good use and doesn't go into the garbage. So we want to start making more initiatives so that we're doing right and being good stewards of everything we have.
Thank you, Ms. Estrada. Thank you.
Item 3.03, recognition of Virginia's School Psychologist of the Year, Mr. Randy Queen. Dr. Beth Harmon.
Good evening, Mr. Chairman, members of the board, Dr. Nicely. Tonight, we'd like to recognize Mr. Randall Queen, our lead school psychologist, who was recently named Virginia's School Psychologist of the Year by the Virginia Academy of School Psychologists. Randy's exemplary demonstration of the full range of services he provides is noteworthy, and I'm going to touch on a few. There are countless highlights regarding Randy's performance as a school psychologist and our division's lead psychologist, which include, but are not limited to, using data to inform impressions and decisions, to plan and deliver services and trainings. He's evaluated at least 100 students for the last 18 years. Completing the inclusive educator micro-credential, maintaining our division's assessment platform, which includes ordering assessments and intervention resources, participating in collaborative work groups with the VDOE and VMAS, which included being a lead presenter at the annual VDOE Medical and Schools Conference for Medical and Behavioral Health Services. He has written several grants and received all of them, training over 200 participants in mental health awareness and suicide prevention. So we'd like to thank and show our appreciation for Randy, who's making a difference for countless students and families in the Roanoke Public Schools community, the Roanoke Valley community, and the Commonwealth at large. So congratulations to Randy. He has a fan club here, including his little ones that are around that,
Yeah, we get a picture. Yeah.
All right. Come on, little one. His twins want to be in the picture too. There you go.
Item 3.04, recognition and adoption of resolution honoring the one, the only, Mr. Mike Ray.
You know, I did have an announcement of changes in the agenda, Chairman. I was going to take out 3.04, please.
Oh, no, we're going to hear a lot of whereases.
And we know you've got something to say.
Mr. Chairman, before we get to the whereases, we do have some guests with us this evening that would like to say a few words on behalf of Mr. Ray in honor of his 8 years of faithful service to our school board. So I want to invite our principals up who prepare some remarks, and if they'll come on up, we'll let them speak first, and then we'll get to the whereases.
The whereases. Can we keep it down on the whereases?
Don't say that too fast.
You just keep coming, Mike.
Yeah.
Good evening, Chairman, School Board, and Dr. Nicely. Mr. Ray, one word always comes to mind when I think of you, and it's kindness. And so at Clearbrook, our motto is actually kindness comes first, and I think somehow it's named after you, or that motto is by you.
I am old, you know.
Yeah, you've been there a while. Well, I'm going to address that right
okay.
here. Okay.
I figured this was more of a roast instead of a toast.
No, we would not do that. I just wanted to let you know how much I've enjoyed getting to know you over the past 6 years. I told someone the other day that you're one of the kindest men I've ever met. or I've had the privilege of knowing. Your unending work in Roanoke County schools and in the community does not go unnoticed. You've dedicated your life to helping people, and I know Roanoke County Schools is not the only board that you're on. You're on other boards and organizations that help the Roanoke Valley. You've been a positive, calm presence in our school and a mentor to many. I love the stories you tell about the history of Clearbrook. I know you've lived there a long time in that area, especially the story about how you met your wife. Everybody likes that story, and maybe you should tell it, but maybe not. But I'll tell it for you. He was a basketball coach at Clearbrook many years ago, and his wife was a teacher there. And he figured out, I guess, what night she stayed late, and he would talk to her, right? Is that
I put up a lot of bulletin boards.
Oh, is that what?
And
Yeah.
cut out a lot of those little things that first graders,
Right.
That's it. That's how I got her.
That's good. So he loves Clearbrook for that reason, and he stops by all the time, and we talk, and he visits our children. So I know you're retiring from this position, but I do hope you know our doors are always open, and I would love for you to come in, and we will put you to work over there. So
I expect that.
okay, but thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Good evening, Mr. Chairman, members of the board, Dr. Nicely, Mr. Ray.
Virginia.
How do I follow that?
Miss Sharp, I should say.
You're fine.
And you got Brett with you.
I did. This is our comic relief here in just a
Yes.
second. He knew we were coming. He was like, I got to go with you. I was like, okay, whatever. As you step into retirement, though, I want to express my gratitude for your leadership as a member of our school board. Your dedication, support and passion for our students, staff, and our school division is unwavering. So on behalf of myself and the Back Creek faculty and staff, we want to extend our warmest wishes to you on your well-deserved retirement. May this chapter be filled with joy, relaxation, and the satisfaction of a job well done. You will be greatly missed by all of us.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Now, if you recognize this voice, you hear it on the radio.
She cries at Hallmark movies, by the way, too.
Brett, I was just getting into it.
Well, Virginia said, do not embarrass me, so I'll try my best in my best Marilyn Monroe. Happy retirement. I've heard nothing but great.
In Forest
Hi,
Elementary.
Jenny.
Hi, Mike. We recently got the chance to invite Mr. Ray to our school, and I had asked him to come join us for an event we have with our fifth graders called Balloons Over Broadway. What we didn't tell him is he was our surprise grand marshal, and we wanted to let him walk the halls of Penn Forest one more time. So when I was talking to the kids and I was getting them all ready for what this event was going to be and telling them Mr. Ray was going to be coming, I'm like, you guys remember Mr. Ray, right? And what I thought was so cool, in a land of kindergarten through fifth grade, you're never sure what kids say or what they know.
Right?
I heard he's the guy that smiles at us all the time. He's the guy that compliments us when you walk around with him. He's the guy that reads us books. He's the guy that ate lunch with me that day and really cared about what I thought. And then some kindergartners thought you were president. So,
He is.
so however you want to take that.
Well, I'm going to make that announcement later.
Maybe that's the reason we're retiring. I don't know. So the point is that when you were getting ready to come, the kids were really excited. The staff were really excited. They were cheering his name in the halls. And I think that's because of the manner Mr. Ray has. It's not just students. It's not just parents, administrators. It's not just staff. It's just your patience, your empathy, your understanding goes unnoticed it's noticed by everyone. So we are forever indebted to your impact on our school and our community. We'll miss you very much. And like you've already heard before, we hope you'll come back to visit often. Thank you.
I sure will. Thank you so much. Now, principals, don't leave. We need to get a picture, okay?
Well, Mr. Ray,
Jody.
you're kind of known, you're famous around Cave Spring Elementary as Mrs. Ray's husband.
Exactly. I mean,
For
I wasn't anything until I went over there. Oh,
That's right.
Miss Ray's
For those
husband.
of you that
Oh,
don't
yeah.
know, Mrs. Ray taught at Cave Spring for many, many years, and Mr. Ray was always Mrs. Ray's husband. But you're so much more than Mrs. Ray's husband. You have done so much for Roanoke County Schools as a whole. You have done countless things for the Cave Spring community as a whole, and you will be greatly, greatly missed, but we trust that you will still come and visit. Come have lunch, come read, come play, and come smile with us. We will miss you.
Sure will. Thank you, Sadie. Appreciate it. Uh-oh.
Good evening again.
Hey.
I feel like we got to know each other really quickly.
Yes, we did.
Mr. Ray, I just want to thank you for your leadership through our construction project. That's where you had the most impact working with me. I learned you as a person, learned what drove you, learned that you care about people, you care about impacting students, and you'll make the right hires, the right choices, all for the betterment of our community. So when we think about student-driven and community-driven and education-driven and doing what's right, you encompass those and have truly embodied that as on our board. And I am very thankful that you took a chance on me, that you believed on me, and that you believe in hiring strong people and empowering our teachers to teach our kids, and it all gives back into our thriving Cave Spring community. So I really just truly appreciate everything that you have done for us. I have a student with me tonight that would also like to speak and present you with something.
Okay. Thank you, Haley, and we did make the right choice, that's for sure.
Go Knights.
This lady, I'll tell you quickly, when we were doing the renovation, she was pregnant, almost delivering. And she was still there and walking through to the porta potty, not porta potties, but the stopped up potties most of the time. But anyway, she was there and she led it through. And if it, and she had a good mentor with Steve Spangler, but she fell right in his step. And thank you. Thank you, Haley.
Hello, my name is Parker Ray. I'm a freshman at Cave Spring High School.
And no relationship, because I didn't tell him to say this.
I'm spelled R-A-Y.
Oh, okay.
I just want to thank you for all that you've done with the renovation of Cave Spring and your work with the new CTE Center. And I'm also a member of the Student Advisory Council. I just want to thank you for all you've done to promote student leadership, make it a part of our county.
Thank you. Where's his dad? There he is. Thank you. So we're going to get some pictures here. Huh?
Mike, we're not finished roasting you yet.
There's another line.
And you can't speak yet either.
What's that?
You gotta wait.
And I was first graduating class from this school before it's renovated. Now you start adding up.
Good evening, Mr. Ray.
Hi, Kim.
Hi. On behalf of the Green Valley School community, we would like to thank you for your support and dedication to our students, staff, and our parents. How does one adequately thank you for the compassion, concern, and care you've given? Well, I went around and asked the staff to share one word that best describes Mike Gray, and this is what they said: dependable, available, dedicated, genuine, kind, friendly, joyful, bubbly, honest, happy, outgoing, caring, generous, polite. In one classroom, a student piped up and said, "Awesome." Personally, I've always been impressed with your genuine interest in getting to know every single employee. You know and ask not only about their students, but about their own children and their families. We've been so blessed to have you serve the children of Green Valley and Roanoke County, and we thank you for your service.
Thank you, Kim.
And Ms. Anderson has a little
You
something
brought,
for
you
you.
brought Cherie with you.
I did bring Cherie. And actually, I have Meg Swecker
Oh, there's Meg.
and Joy Wood. You probably
And
recognize
Joy,
Miss
yeah,
Joy.
cousin Joy.
That's right. And
Yes.
also, I have Natalie Haggett, who wanted to come and
Natalie.
see you as well.
I have to say, Mr. Ray, I have gotten to know Mr. Ray as assistant principal at Clearbrook, Back Creek, and now Green Valley. So he's been the same at all the schools. He puts the students first, he checks in on the staff, and he loves the community. But on behalf of Green Valley, I had to get the school straight, on Green Valley, we thank you.
You wear many hats.
I'm only at Green Valley. We do thank you, truly, from the bottom of our hearts for all of your service and hard work. Thank you.
Chuck, I don't know if you can get a picture, but it's the Cardinal from Green
Hey,
Valley.
Dr. Nicely, before we go forward, is there anybody else that signed up to speak during the public comment time that was intended to do this? If somebody would, Mr. Weimer, if you want to come on up, and we'll afford you that opportunity so you don't have to wait through all of the other comments. Welcome.
This must be the answer to Mike's request for doing whatever he wants to do tonight.
He does that anyway, right?
To move off the 3-minute to the 3-hour. Now I wish I had brought Fuzzy minutes with me. I was afraid if I brought Fuzzy that I'd never get a chance to speak. 3 minutes would be gone before we got introduced.
Fuzzy and I go way back.
I had no idea that all these administrators and staff were going to be here tonight. That's basically why I chose to come to, I'm not going to roast you.
Oh, okay.
Okay. We're beyond that.
I'll relax.
Oh,
Huh?
come on.
We're beyond that. I've got it right here.
Good news is you're not limited to 3 minutes.
I will be. I'll tell you when to start the clock.
About 12 in.
Mike and I have known each other for quite a few years in a lot of different roles. He grew up in the Cave Spring District, Clearbrook area, has a love for Cave Spring, the residents, and everything Cave Spring. You've heard a lot of comments from his administrators about how he is in schools, and it's real. You do care. You and I have an advantage. You and I have an advantage over a lot of other folks. We had wives who taught in elementary for extended periods of time. Mine for 38 years. I put up a few bulletin boards.
You know what it's like.
But it also, as I was moving through other roles, the positions that I had, it kept me grounded. And I think that's one thing that your wife, Marcia, and your family and friends have done for you. You're an important cog in many, many organizations. You served on the Board of Supervisors, followed Fuzzy Minix. That was a chore. You served on the school board for 8 years.
Following
Fuzzy Minix.
You get the pattern.
See why I didn't bring him?
Yeah.
There's a theme.
You serve on a lot of boards and organizations in the community that do really good work for people that go unheralded and sometimes unnoticed. And that's a sign of a true leader. When the recognition is not the driving force, when the mission is the force, then good things can happen because you don't care who gets credit. You just want to see the job get done. You served at Radford University, selecting college presidents. You've had some responsibilities over your time, and you handled it well. You know, we can talk about physical facilities that you've been associated with, and they're good because they were needed to help students and the community move forward. But that's not what I'm going to remember about you. I'm going to remember the times that I saw you at all kind of activities, athletic as well as academic, band, choir, all those kind of things in the schools. And they've mentioned this. When you're walking down the hall and you may be Miss Ray's husband at one school, but not at all those schools.
Thank you.
Well,
Thank you, Dave.
I was going to say that too, but
She didn't teach at all of them.
But that says something about your character. The reason that they remember you is because you made them feel important. And you've done that throughout your career, whether you're on the board of supervisors or here on the board. You've made other people feel important and that you support them in doing their job. And they appreciate that. Staff will never, ever follow someone who becomes an explorer, who moves away from the group, who doesn't dialogue and connect with them. And you made a point in all of your interactions to interact, connect, and support. And I believe they appreciated that. I remember when you finished Cave Spring High School.
Ooh, that's a long time ago.
The new one.
Oh. I knew that was coming.
I'm not sure I was born when you graduated.
This is better than I thought it was gonna be. Mr. Chairman, may I leave?
You might remember that you spent a Saturday with a group of former teachers, administrators, and staff, the old guard, that meets annually to keep in touch with each other because we too feel that sense of togetherness and community. But you spent 2 hours on Saturday walking through every inch of that building, describing every feature that was in there. And the comments from the old guard was, I can't believe he was that into detail. And I meant to tell him, yeah, he is.
I lived it.
He's
every
into
day.
that.
It was something.
And we appreciate it. I'm going to finish here, so start the clock. If you look over your shoulder, you see the seal of Roanoke County Public Schools. And at the bottom of that, which is at the top of our list, is Opportunity Ready. When I first started teaching in Roanoke County, and for a period of years, the motto was teaching every kid whatever it takes. And I truly believe that that was the driving force for years and years and years. And some of these people were around when that was the motto. I was also in the room several years ago preparing comments for a report that I was going to make. And Dr. Nicely was there, Ben Williams was there, and several of the supervisors who were around were in that room when the term Opportunity Ready first surfaced. And we talked about, the mission of making sure that every student in Roanoke County was going to be opportunity ready when they left Roanoke County schools. I'm here tonight to tell you 100% of the students in Roanoke County who graduate every year will be opportunity ready. Our task is to make sure that they're ready for a life that they will find fulfilling, satisfying, and meet their basic needs as a person and as a family. Basic needs like food, shelter, clothing, medical care, support. Because an English philosopher back in the 1700s Thomas Hobbes wrote that when people who have control over other people, he was talking about the kings then, but when people who have control over other people could refuse to pay attention to the needs and meet the needs of those people, then they slide into a state of nature, which is ugly, nasty, brutish, and short. And that's what we have to prevent against. You as a board, superintendent and staff, they will be opportunity ready. They need the knowledge and the skills so that their trajectory, when they leave, will leave no doubt in their minds or ours or anyone else's that they're off to a life. The next 60 or 70 years is what we're preparing them for. And that's daunting when you think about it. But you're doing a great job. Continue to do that good work because Roanoke County Schools appreciates what you're doing for the staff, what you're doing for the community. I was just thinking the other day, in your case, Mike, you had almost 3,400 students walk across the stage when you were their board member. That's a lot of people. Multiply that by all the other people on the board, and you touch lives. You make a difference. And for that, I am proud to call you a friend, and thank you for your years of service.
Thank you very much, David. Thank you.
Was there anybody else in the crowd that signed up to speak that were intended to speak about Mr. Ray? Dr. Nicely.
Can we get a picture? Oh,
We didn't get to the whereases yet, Mike.
my principals are having to stand all this time.
I'm gonna read fast. So it's my pleasure, Mr. Chairman, to recommend the adoption of the following resolution of recognition in honor of Michael Ray. Comes the whereases. Whereas Michael A. Ray was first elected to the Roanoke County School Board in 2015 to serve as the Cave Spring District Representative, and whereas Mr. Ray previously served on the Roanoke County Board of Supervisors from 2004 to 2008, and whereas during his tenure on the Roanoke County School Board, Mr. Ray served as board chairman in 2016 and a portion of 2020. He served as vice chairman in 21. And whereas Mr. Ray has served on many committees, including the Career and Technical Education Advisory Committee, and has championed many issues during his time on the school board, including the renovation and expansion of Cave Spring High School. And whereas Mr. Ray has represented the Cave Spring District with distinction, attending countless sporting events, performances, school events, and community meetings, Mr. Ray has met with elected officials at the local, state, and national levels to advocate for the needs of the students and staff of Roanoke County Public Schools. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the Roanoke County School Board hereby recognizes and thanks Mr. Michael A. Ray for his service to the students and staff of Roanoke County Public Schools and to the citizens of Roanoke County. Recommend that adoption, Mr. Chairman.
Get a picture.
You gonna make a motion to the?
Yeah, you want me to?
I don't think Mr. Ray should make
I'll
that.
do it.
I will go ahead and make a motion to adopt the resolution as presented by Dr. Nicely.
I'll second.
Madam Clerk?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
One of the few times I'll abstain.
Oh.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
All right,
Yes,
now
ma'am.
you can get a picture.
Yeah, no, yeah, I got a few things to say. No, but I want my,
We got a plaque for you and everything. So,
oh goodness.
You want to talk first or
Yeah,
get a picture first?
let's get a picture.
Okay.
Y'all come on down. Y'all come on up. I want the principals here
absolutely.
too. Principals?
You got hold of it.
Can you imagine having meetings with Mr. Weimer and Mr. Ray?
Mike will never get over there. Okay.
We need Marcia.
No, there was another photo that could have been in there, Mike.
gonna get our turn, correct?
What's that?
We are gonna get our turn, aren't we? Yeah.
Tim, you want to speak now or at the end?
Yeah, let's do it now. Might as well.
You want to make him face us while we do it?
Huh? Yeah, I can, it's fine. I'm good. I'm a roasty.
Mr. Ray, I think we're going to afford this opportunity for everybody to speak. Mr. Linden, would you like to start?
Oh, no.
Sure, Mr. Chairman.
Now they're gonna tell the truth.
I was just gonna say, don't
All
leave,
that-
now you'll
I'm just
learn the
kidding.
real
Just
story
kidding,
about
girl.
Mr. Ray. But, no, all the superlatives that we just heard are 100% accurate, and I'm gonna do my best Mike Ray imitation here. I'm gonna try to limit this to about 10 minutes. Actually, you guys know me, and there's no chance that's gonna happen, but. Mike, you've been a fantastic and effective school board member throughout my 6 years here, and have really admired the way that you're always thoughtful on everything that we approach. You always do your homework. You're a diligent board member who really wants to dig into things and look to make sure that we're doing things the right way. You're always willing to listen to others. It's some long conversations sometimes, but that's good because we work some things out. So you've been a visionary since even in your time on the Board of Supervisors, coming up with the revenue sharing plan that has helped our schools immensely, and the school projects here. You always seem to have a vision that I admire on your ability to look forward to the future and see what's going to be best for not only students in our schools, but for the county as a whole. So. And we haven't always agreed on everything. There are times that we've disagreed, but you've always been respectful when that's the case. And if things didn't go your way, you accepted it and moved on.
I'm married, you know. I don't always get my way.
I understand that very well. But you've been respectful of differing opinions, and I've always appreciated your open-mindedness and willing to listen. So. Ms. Clemens, you obviously have some huge shoes to fill. So Mike, it's been a pleasure to work with you. Thoroughly enjoyed our time together. I'm going to miss your wisdom. I'm going to miss your expertise, and expect to continue to get some phone calls when we may have some questions. But want to wish you the best of luck. I know that your love for the students and the teachers and education in general will not die, so I'm sure we're going to continue to see you around here. But just wanted to say thank you, and a job very well done.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Linden.
Mr. Chairman, so, Mike, I hope I don't start to cry either. The testimonies that we heard tonight just speak resoundingly to your character and your integrity and the blessing you are to this community. I've known you for many years, from our early days. Well, of course, you were Mrs. Ray's husband, but your wife is a wonderful teacher and a beautiful soul. So thank you for your dedication, because behind every amazing man is a wonderful woman. Appreciate your support. So back to our early days on JDRF and getting so many things done together. When I, grow to know you more as a school board member, it became that much more joyful. We always have jokes up here. There's always a ribbing that's taking place, but everything is always with love and respect and admiration. There will be a hole on this board. We're blessed to have Shelley, Ms. Clemens, come on up after you, but you will be missed. You'll be missed dearly. Your smile, your sense of humor, and of of course, your support. So you are a blessing, Mike, and you're a blessing to many, so thank you.
Thank you, Cheryl.
Gentleman
Yeah.
from Benton.
So, as the educators and the administrators said so eloquently, I think all those superlatives stick. They are, you are a consummate, as I said in the investiture the other day, you are a consummate gentleman. And when I think about you, Mike, and when I met you and had the opportunity to meet Mrs. Ray's husband, it was you. We've had things happen during these 8 years that we've talked about this. I'm not sure other boards have seen a lot of, we've had issue after issue after issue of things that probably, and Mr. Weimer being here as a board member, the last 8 years of issues, I'm not sure a board's seen in the past. But you always had a steady hand at the way you handled things and how we should go about things. And even though we didn't agree on some things, just as Mr. Linden said, there's times that we didn't agree on things, but you still were the consummate gentleman. And I think that is one of the nicest things anybody could say about you, is that that's what I'll always take from you. I know I haven't always been, and so reflecting back, it's nice to have someone that was there that shows you the way it should be. And so I'll always, I'll probably still call you from time to time, and
You owe me a lunch.
I'm sure I do. I'm sure I lost a bet somewhere on one of the games. We were finally good this year in football, and I didn't bet you. So.
No, that's right.
But I could have got at least even. But it's been fun. It's been rewarding, and I also look at the positive side of what changes have happened in the last 8 years, whether it be administrators and the hiring of Dr. Nicely and Haley as she came on for Cave Spring. I'm thinking in your area, but it's been a growth of and the elementary teachers that were here, and Fiona was she came on during.
She came
during
earlier.
Your tenure. Yeah, so it's been a growth of where we're at today that I think that when you're in public office, the best thing anybody could say about you is not that it was in a bad place, but that you left it in a better place than you found it. And I think that's truly something that can be said. You look at the renovation at Cave Spring, it was, we know it was a dump at the time, and it needed it, and it's a
During
beautiful,
COVID.
It's beautiful community-related school now, and so, you've left it in a much better place than you found it. And we've talked about this many times because we both came from the areas we represent. We grew up, we've lived there, we've breathed there, we've worked there our entire lives. And so, that's a unique bond as well. So I wish you the best. If you ever need anything, you know where I'm at.
Thank you.
And you'll always be here.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate it.
Well, I say this a lot, but being the last one to speak, all the kind words that I can think of has already been said. I do want to say thank you, Mike, for your service. Always being a listening ear and a kind voice, and always willing to help. You have a way about you, like you said, a gentleman. I don't know how else to describe it, but when I know I call you, that I'm going to get an honest answer, and I'm going to get some good advice. And I'm definitely going to be calling you after you're gone. And I know you're not going anywhere. I know I'm still going to see you at school events.
Mm-hmm.
And I plan to eat many lunches with you.
Yeah.
But I expect you to buy every now and then.
But he also owes me one.
Good Lord.
But I think it really speaks when you look at the line of staff that was standing here on your last day.
Yes,
And if
sir.
that happens to me, I'll feel very accomplished. That right there speaks louder than anything that you had. And you even had a student here that took the time to speak. And that's what it's all about right there, Mike. And well done. Thank you.
Yes. Thank you so much. And
We're not allowing you to speak because we'll be here till tomorrow.
Oh, my.
Mike, they're gonna take your measurements in a little bit. We're gonna erect a bronze statue.
Miss Ray's husband, help us.
Yeah, that's
And
right.
thank you, Ms. Ray, for allowing us to have him for the last 8 years. Thank you. I know it takes a lot of
Yeah.
time away from family. So, thank you.
Yeah, yeah, I couldn't have done it without the support, certainly, of Marcia and, being there, and I'm gone, she's always there watching the house, taking care of the dogs and cat, no, I'm just, but she has been very supportive of all the boards that I've served on and still serve on, and the things that I do, and she never says a word and says, "Where are you going today?" So, and I do appreciate that. I appreciate you being here, and, thank you, board, for, I think exactly what you said about we don't always agree, but we listen to each other, and we come together. And what we do as a board, that means so much to this community. And, it's a great board. Shelley, when you step in here, you got great people with you. And they'll be right beside you and certainly will help you get through. And so I'm very, very happy and proud, that you will be coming into this role. And I know that you'll have the dedication as well. And the folks that came out tonight, the girls, and Brett. Is Brett still here? He's gone. And to come out tonight, you just don't know what that means to me. I mean, I know that the love I have for these students in the school, and especially these principals, assistant principals, and staff, is just, it just makes everything worthwhile. When you go into a school and y'all are helping those kids, it's amazing what our staff and teachers and principals, assistant principals, and I don't want to forget everybody, but what you do to educate our kids and the love that you have for these kids. And Roanoke County is special. They're special to have the staff from Dr. Nicely and the staff on down, all the way down, to everybody. And they, have that love. Now, Mr. Chairman, have I got 3 minutes?
Start the clock.
Start the clock. And I had to write down because I didn't know if I could say everything, but you just don't know what it means that the staff that you came out today and came out. Fiona came. She presented me with, I'm officially what do they call it, Shelley? The squire, the honorable squire at Cave Spring Middle School. And I went to high school there. And I'm not going to tell you how old I am. You can figure it out. But anyway, these wrinkles didn't get there, But we certainly was an honor. She had to get back to a concert, but she was here for a little bit. I'm leaving the school board with a heavy heart. After 8 years, I've gotten to know many people. Many parents, students, teachers, principals, school staff, administrative staff, bus drivers, cafeteria personnel, custodial personnel, and of course, my fellow board members. Thank you to all who have made my journey serving Roanoke County a great one. I hope I can read this because I wrote it about 12 o'clock at night. Dr. Nicely, Angela Robertson, Cindy Perdue, who was there before Edie, who retired, and Edie York, who were always there to rescue me when I got into trouble. I'd call them, and they'd say, "Mike, did you call this parent?" They call back. No, but always kept me out of trouble. I feel you're a family and have turned to you for guidance, through the many issues in this past 8 years. It's bittersweet that I'm leaving you. Sweet, I'm leaving you. I'm leaving you. It's bitter that I'm leaving you, of course, but it's sweet I'm leaving you. Does that make sense? That doesn't sound right, does it? But it is. It is. It's hard. It's hard to leave a family, and that's what you are, a family. You have become a family. I care about you. I care about what happens in your personal families. And I know that for a lot of you. I know a lot about your personal families that no one else will ever know but me. I take it to my grave. But, I did, I got to know you personally, and I appreciate that. As many of you know, I serve on several boards, as was mentioned. And I've been doing ministry lately for the past couple of years. And when you ask people to elect you to serve, when you do, it's a 24/7 time frame. I've had calls late at night, as all of us have, on holidays, and you can't go to the grocery store. Right? And that's okay. That's what when you do this, when you ask for this job, you become a public servant 24/7. We've had many accomplishments over the years and too many projects to mention. If I started mentioning those, I'd go over my 3 minutes. One stands out to me was the renovation, of course, of Cave Spring High School. Being a graduate of Cave Spring High School, it was a true honor to personally be involved with this project. And I know they got tired of me being over there every day, but, it was really personal to me. Going through COVID was a real challenge during this time because the crews had to quit and we didn't know about our timeline. And also during this time, I got COVID and was in the hospital for 8 days. And I cannot count the many great well wishes I received from my school family. You were there. It was a lonely time. Nobody could visit you, but you would send me emails, texts, even phone calls. I will always cherish the many memories and the people I've met over these years. I'll still continue to go and read to the elementary kids, teach junior achievement, do alumni tours of Cave Spring High School. I've got permission from everybody for that. So Shelley said, do it. She doesn't want, no, I'm just saying. And a quick story. It's already been said about go and read to the kids. And as they went on through, they knew me as a person, and they said, he read to me, and they even quote the book that you read to them. So you felt like, that they really felt time. One other special time when I was visiting Penn Forest and talking to the 5th graders, and I have to keep this because I'm getting emotional. 5th graders going to the middle school next year, and that's a traumatic time when kids go from elementary to the middle school. And I could tell there was one little girl that seemed very apprehensive about the move. And she was off to herself. And I said, are you excited? No, I'm scared. So I gave her my school board card. And Tim can tease me that I've used many boxes of cards. Right, Tim?
Use campaigning.
And I gave her my card. And I gave out many cards, but her parents, I was at another event that I serve a board on at the YMCA. And we were at a function, and the parents came up to me and said, oh, our daughter came home and she brought your card home. And she put it in her room and told him she felt better about middle school knowing someone cared.
Aww.
You see? I invited the parents, the student, and Miss Hill, the principal at Cave Spring Middle School. I invited the parents, the student, to attend with me and the principal for a personal tour before the school opened. The parent said after the visit, she was getting so excited to go to 6th grade. So those are the kind of stories that you can't make those up. Just like my fellow board members, we have many good moments and tough moments as well, but we get through all of them. I love my school family, and I'll never forget you. I could go on, and I know you're saying, hurry up, Mr. Ray. Sometimes in my sermons that I do, I tell people that I'm between you and lunch. Now I'm between you and bedtime. Thank you for the many memories. It's been an honor to serve you. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Mike.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Item 4.01, report by Student Advisory Council, Mr. Brennan Metz. Welcome, Brennan.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, the board. Thank you, Dr. Nicely. Thank you, Mr. Ray.
Thank you.
Oh, we're not done.
Uh-oh.
I heard the year 2015, and it reminded me of when I moved here around that time. And going through that stage, that transition to where at a certain point, I have to admit I became a Titan at one point. It's something Mr. Ray has never held against me. And in that time, no matter what, and more specifically with the Student Advisory Council, he was always there to help support us. So we thank you very much for doing that throughout the years. Moving on to my discussion here. In the last SAC meeting, we delved into understanding technological programs we've been using, like Lightspeed. This program plays a crucial role in safeguarding our digital environment by censoring certain internet content and programs within our school laptops, which ensure that the students' experiences on county laptops are safe and constructive. Throughout the time that they are given to them, in my mind, it shows a collective commitment by the board to student safety in the digital age, and we're very lucky to have it. On a personal note, I had the privilege of representing Roanoke County Public Schools at the National PBIS Conference in Chicago last month. During the second day's keynote in mid-October, I delivered a presentation that I am informed was well received. Along with the clips featured on the conference's Facebook and X platforms, underscored the impact of our efforts. And I say our efforts because PBIS has really been something that everyone has had a hand in helping with. The positive effects of PBIS are evident, and it was an honor to showcase our success to a national platform. Furthermore, I must extend a special thanks to Ms. McClung. Without her encouragement and push for this opportunity, my participation in the conference would not have been possible. And her support, along with all of your support, has exemplified the dedication that the educators and administrators we have in elevating our school district's profile and impact. In conclusion, I am so proud to represent our student body and to share these milestones and learnings with you. Continuing throughout the year, together we're making a significant difference in the lives of students, decisions that affect all students, ensuring they have a safe, supportive, and enriching learning environment. Thank you for your time. I look forward to our continued collaboration with the SAC and fostering excellence within our CPS. If you have any questions or comments for the SAC, now would be the time. Hit me if you have anything. If not, thank you.
Mr. Chairman. Brennan, I'd just like to thank you for your leadership. You've always been a leader, And I don't know where you're going to be, but I think I'll be voting for you sometime in the future, whether it be president or what. But you have those leadership qualities that I will always admire. But thank you so much for what you do.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Brennan.
Thank you.
Appreciate all your work. All right, item 5.01, hearing of citizens. So during this portion of the meeting, citizens are invited to address the board on matters of public concern and exercise their First Amendment rights. We ask speakers to be respectful and civil in their comments, observing due respect to the dignity and privacy of others who may be affected by public comments. Speakers should be aware that they may be held legally responsible if they make statements that violate the legal rights of others. For example, if statements are made that are defamatory or threatening, complaints about specific school personnel should be addressed to the appropriate school administration, who will address those concerns as appropriate through existing complaint procedures. Comments likely to disrupt the board's work or prompt breach of the peace are prohibited, and the speaker will be called out of order by the board chair. Speakers must address the board chair rather than individual board members. Before you speak, please state your name and the district that you reside in. Speakers have 3 minutes to make their comments and will be signaled by the lights on the podium. When the light turns yellow, please wrap up your comments and finish before the light turns red. Please be aware that board members listen to comments but do not respond. First up is Ryan White, then Keely Meadows, and then Tiffany Sandifer.
Good evening, members of the board and Dr. Nicely. Thank you for your time tonight. I'm Dr. Ryan White. I use he, him pronouns. I'm here again not to share opinions or noise, but to share testimony as an expert in the field of medicine and mental health. It's true that also we may not agree on certain views in personal matters. Matter I've been speaking about, however, is firmly rooted in healthcare, which is my expertise. I do firmly believe, however, that there is common mission that we can all agree on. I believe that all of us want to keep our children safe. We want them all to be successful in school, and we want them all to reach their full potential. Many speakers here tonight do share faith-based, and some of them do embrace it publicly with zeal. And I support that, and I want to be clear, I'm in full support of personal religious freedoms, and I encourage family on a regular basis to engage with the church of their choosing. Engagement in supportive communities is, in fact, a protective factor for children, and for many, but definitely not all, a church community can serve that role. However, policy to provide safe and supportive environments to all children in public schools does require careful consideration and should be based on scientific evidence and measurable outcomes rather than on personal belief and faith alone. I am a member of AMA, APA, ACAP, all of which are professional physician organizations recognized not only nationally but across the globe. And my stance on gender-affirming care and on creating safe, inclusive, and supportive schools is not mine alone. This stance does not come from a fringe group and is not a minority opinion. It is medical consensus. Let me remind you of the facts. Gender identity and sexual orientation does not cause individuals to suffer anxiety nor depression, nor does it lead to suicide. The problem, however, lies in how society mistreats and stigmatizes the LGBTQIA+ communities, and we have data and research to show this. We know, however, that building communities that embrace gender-affirming care, we can prevent suicide and improve the well-being of our youth. Gender-affirming care includes supporting and using preferred names and pronouns. It includes allowing teachers and staff to display rainbows or other signs to let students know that they are in a safe space. It also does include access to bathrooms that align with gender identity. Sadly, these life-saving interventions have been directly targeted by recent policy. This is in direct contradiction to what experts in professional societies recommend. I do continue to hope that this school board can find a way to walk back from the discriminatory policies and rebuild our communities and our schools. Thank you very much. I wish you all happy holidays, and Mr. Ray, even though I'm not supposed to directly target you, happy retirement, and I wish you well.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. White. Keely Meadows, Tiffany Sandifer, Eric Russ.
Hi,
Okay, today I'll share some words from Prince Aya that relate to this board. Albert Einstein once said, "Everybody is a genius, but if you judge a fish by its ability to climb a tree, it will live its whole life believing it's stupid." Not only does this board make fish climb trees, but also makes them climb down and do a 10-mile run. Are you proud of these schools? Turning thousands of people into robots? Do you find that fun? Do you know how many kids relate to that fish swimming upstream in class, but none of that matters because they're supposed to be climbing a tree? These kids feel useless, so no more excuses. These schools are based on ancient institutions that have outlived their usage. These schools are meant to train people to work in factories, which explains why students are always in rows or groups, nice and neat. We have to sit still and raise our hand to speak. We're allowed a 30-minute break to eat, and for 8 hours a day, we all have to think exactly like the person next to us. Oh, and make them compete to get an A, a letter which determines product quality, hence grade A meat. See, every scientist will tell you that no two brains are the same, and every parent with 2 or more children will confirm that claim. So please explain why students have to fit into cookie-cutter frames or snapback hats, giving them this one-size-fits-all crap. If a doctor prescribed this exact same medication to all of his patients, the results would be tragic, yet when it comes to school, this is exactly what happens. The educational malpractice, where one teacher stands in front of 20 kids, each one having different strengths, different needs, different gifts, different dreams, and you teach the same thing in the same way, that's horrific. Let's mention the way you treat your employees. Teachers have the most important job on the planet, yet they're underpaid. Let's be honest, teachers should earn just as much as doctors because a doctor can do heart surgery and save the life of a kid, but a great teacher can reach into the heart of that kid and allow him to truly live. See, teachers are heroes that often get blamed, but they aren't the problem. They work in a system without any options or rights. Curriculums are created by policymakers, most of which have never taught a day in their life, just obsessed with standardized tests. Frederick J. Kelly, the man who invented standardized testing, said, and I quote, "These tests are too crude to be used and should be abandoned." Cars look different than they did 100 years ago. Televisions look different than they did 100 years ago, but classrooms look the same. If we can customize our Facebook profile or Apple Watch, then we can customize our education. If we keep going down this road, the results will be lethal. They already have. I don't have much faith in this board, but I have faith in the people. This isn't about awful policies that you've passed, but this is a multi-century long silencing of children who don't fit into the cookie cutter. All of this is through the education system. I am so much more successful than the schools wanted me to be, and according to the way I was treated, I was supposed to be the weird autistic person who never lived on their own. But in the past year, I attended the largest march on Washington in United States history, participated in a national hunger strike with leaders around the world, and I organized for Roanokers to protest in Manhattan this past weekend. These schools have failed to silence me, and you will continue to fail. Sorry, I know it hurts.
Thank you, Ms. Meadows. Tiffany Sandifer, Eric Russ, Decca Knight.
Good evening, and if you would allow me just a moment before my time starts, Mr. Ray, I want to thank you very much for being one of the leaders on the board who listens to each and every one of us, even when you don't agree with us. You make eye contact with us, and you respond to us after we speak. So thank you very much for your service, and you will be missed.
Thank you.
This evening, I do want to shift gears a little bit and address the elephant in the room. For 3 straight months, you have changed the meeting time to Wednesday, and there's a lot of speculation about why you might do that. But a lot of folks, including myself, feel like it might be because the Church Alive International folks have convened a worship group to come here since their Wednesday nights are normally cleared due to having church, and that makes it easier for them to be here. They seem to be the only community members showing up to support you, and only a few of them can speak given the restrictions that you put in place. Only one or two of those have students in the school system, either as children or grandchildren. The rest just happen to live here. This feels like a very intentional imposition of Christian religion in a public meeting for 3 months in a row. It is beyond coincidental. Now, they pray for us to be damned to eternal hell in this room. They call us demons, groomers, child abusers, and you, Chairman Hudson, lean heavily on a scripture that implies that you believe we, as parents and educators who disagree with your politics, would be better off drowned and dead and taken from our children. You claim this board is about parents' rights. Well, I'm a parent. I don't want my children exposed to this perversion of my own faith system or to be religiously groomed by people who think, believe, and publicly behave the way these people do.
but you listen to them and you ignore us. You appreciate them and you disrespect us. You invite them and you arrest us. Meanwhile, some of you engage in terribly unchristian actions against a county supervisor over whom you have had some leverage. You punished her for her vote in a unanimous decision to stop giving you blank checks and make you accountable for how those funds are spent. And now you are facing civil suits due to those actions. Hypocrites hold a special position in the bad place. That is biblical truth. Now, I've liberated my children from your control, but we still live here and care deeply about those who can't do what we did, who have less privilege than we do. And as a family, we do stand united against you. So tonight, I leave you with this benediction. May the Lord bless you and keep you. May the Lord make his face to shine upon you and bring you peace. I mean every literal word of that. I hope and pray daily that God will shine his light on you and show you how to love others the way Christ loves you, because you haven't figured that part out yet, and neither have these other people. And it's costing kids their education, lives, and well-being. Good night.
Thank you, Ms. Sandifer. Eric Russ, Decca Knight, and Thomas Manley.
Before we start my clock, Mr. Ray, I want to thank you for your service. Obviously, I spend a ton of time around a ton of teachers, and I cannot tell you how many of their eyes light up when I say your name. And as a former student in your district, my gosh, it was a pleasure to shake your hand when I graduated in 21, and I'm really grateful for you.
Thank you.
Let's go. Good evening. I stand before you again tonight to ask about your conduct as members of the Roanoke County School Board. Please look at me as I'm speaking to you. I have a lot to go through tonight, so I intend to do so as fast as possible. I want to start by asking you again, Mr. Chairman, about your use of Matthew 18:6. Now, I'm not going to repeat it again. I'm sure everyone here is tired of hearing me saying it, and I'd reach out to you to ask, but quite honestly, I'm too afraid of your temperament to do so. There was a kid named Matt in Fort Collins, Colorado, community I used to live near, close to my heart, who was killed in 1988 and tortured for being gay. So maybe you can go to his grave and tell him I'll invite you on my next trip to Denver. I commissioned a survey asking people how they felt about y'all's conduct. And the answers I got were admittedly limited, but there were some things I felt important to highlight, and I'll cut myself down in the interest of time. There was one student who came, very young girl, and addressed y'all, and two of y'all were looking down. Now, addressing y'all is no easy task. They could look up to you, they could be afraid of you, anything in between. And you can see me shaking right now, and I've been doing this for how long? Stuff like that really tears down their morale and sows distrust in the board. And you guys control their education. I've went and I've seen classrooms, and it frightens me to think and look at every one of those students and think the fact that some of y'all control their education. Not all of y'all, it frightens me, but some of y'all. The other thing is Roanoke's a diverse place. I know I'm going to get some head shaking for that, but it's a big draw that Roanoke's diverse. And now, in the name of someone who preached love for all, y'all are trying to destroy that, but you're not listening to me about this. Much like most of my teachers in elementary school, I'm done being nice. Do better. You chose to be elected. You chose to run. This isn't the Santa Claus. You didn't wake up a board member. I myself, a 20-year-old, have been at my job for a little over 6 months now, and I've learned there are situations I don't like. There are people that I don't agree with. There are things that I don't like having to do at my job. One day I walked in, was there for 15 minutes, turned around. However, even though it may frustrate me, I don't stop thinking about my job. When you leave this office, when you leave a school, you're not done being a board member. When I leave my place of work, I'm not done being a community manager. I lay awake at night thinking how I can make my facility better and how to handle issues. And I know y'all can too. Brent, please take this job as seriously as your policing job. And please look at us when we're talking to you. Have a good evening. Merry Christmas.
Thank you, Mr. Russ.
I just want to say also thank you, Mr. Ray. You and I have had some long conversations, and I so appreciate your service and your ability to engage with community members. As a Cave Spring parent myself, I truly appreciate it.
Thank you.
Dear school board members and Dr. Nicely, my name is Decca Knight, and I'm a Roanoke County parent and counselor here in the Roanoke Valley. I'm actually here today to read 2 anonymous quotes that come from current or former RCPS staff who are too scared to speak to the board directly. Testimony number 1. It broke my heart to leave. I loved my school, I loved my coworkers, I loved my classroom, and all the things that went with it. I had aspired to be part of Roanoke County. It had always been held to such a high standard, one that allowed the division to be extremely selective in who it hired. So much so that when I first graduated college, they wouldn't accept my resume at a job fair because I didn't have a master's degree, which I now have, along with 21 years of experience and a number of accolades. When my family moved to Roanoke, my goal was to work for this division. I had held on a pedestal for all these years. The vision that was in my head was the place to be. The place to show that I had finally made it as a teacher. But it wasn't. Well, it was for a short time. Trauma that has been caused has been lasting. I'm incredibly thankful now to be working for Roanoke City, a division who has worked hard to attain the standing they are currently in and continues to respect and work for every student. I'm heard. If I express a concern, they listen. I'm not gaslit. They aren't bullying me. And I'm trying to make me a problem. Are they perfect? No. Are they trying? Yes. That's all any teacher or stakeholder wanted from you, the board, and you, the leaders. We wanted you to try, but you didn't. So we left, and now we are speaking out. You are left with a mess that you can't continue to brush under the rug. Testimony number 2. Many teachers do not feel trusted or respected by this board, which then makes the public we are trying to serve feel there is a reason for that distrust. We are required to have a degree, most of us with more than a bachelor's degree, continuing education each year, professional development, etc., but we are never asked about what we think is best practice. Behavior in the classrooms is out of control, and parents or students are not being held accountable. Our pacing guides are unattainable and force us to leave a topic before students are ready. Spiral back is what we're told, but there's no time when we are expected to do small groups, have no support in the classroom to do remediation, or in the very kids we have to remediate have excessive absences. We have to find a way to make it work. I work countless hours outside of my contract, but it is before the kids. But what about my personal kids? Where do they get my time to help them with their schoolwork? I'm tired, just tired. Nothing more can be put on my plate, especially when I'm not trusted or respected by the people who expect me to be professional. So this is saying from my heart as a Roanoke County parent, I sincerely hope that you will listen to these words from your educators and take them to heart. Thanks for listening.
Thank you, Ms. Knight. Thomas Manley, Vanya Harrell, Jasmine Alexander.
Good evening. I'm Sullivan Manley. I live in Hollins. Before I start, I wanted to speak about Mike Ray. I want to thank him for his years of service and also wish him a happy retirement. You're a respectful person and a good person. And even if we don't agree, you're always willing to listen to all the speakers, and I think everybody here appreciates that.
Thank you.
Now, I'd like to keep my remarks brief tonight. I do not believe that the school board has made good decisions this year in regards to the LGBTQ community. As you heard from Dr. White, the claim that the LGBTQ community deserves respect is founded in medicine. My question is, what's the problem with a rainbow, letting a child use the restroom, or preferred pronouns? It doesn't cause anybody harm. I hope that the school board will retract this policy. I'd also like to touch briefly on religion in schools. Many speakers have spoken on why Christianity needs to be in schools. As a Christian, I'm opposed to religion in public education. I hope everybody here would support that as well. If you want a religious education, attend private school or homeschool your child. I have no problem with that at all, and I don't think anybody here has a problem with that either. I'd like to end on Moms for Liberty. Moms for Liberty is considered to be a domestic terrorist organization. I'm wearing this No to Moms for Liberty sticker tonight because Moms for Liberty is an organization that promotes some parents over other parents. Also on that point, let's keep politics out of education. No Republicans or Democrats. This is supposed to be a nonpartisan board. Anyway, I'd like to end by saying I have respect for everybody personally in this room, regardless of your beliefs, but some of the people in this room have very frightening beliefs. Some of these beliefs are kind of bat crap crazy and should be nowhere near a public school system, or any school system for that matter. To end, I wish you all a very happy holiday season and a good new year.
Thank you, Mr. Manley. Ms. Harrell? Not here. All right. Ms. Alexander, Jasmine Alexander? Welcome, Ms. Alexander.
Good evening, Chairman Hudson and board members. My name is Jasmine Alexander, and I am a Roanoke County resident and mother to a Roanoke County student. I believe the rise of depression and confusion in our students and adults today is due to the fact that we have taken the Bible out of schools and conformed to what makes us feel good, lacking biblical guidance, accountability, and integrity. I stand here today to encourage you to continue standing for what is right for the development of this generation and the ones to come. 2 Corinthians 13:8 says, "For we cannot oppose the truth, but must always stand for the truth." I pray that even in your weakness, the Lord will be shown strong in you, that you will continue to mature in Him. When it seems as if all the odds are stacked up against you and the world doesn't understand why you believe what you believe, stand strong, for greater is He that is in you than he that is in the world. May the Lord continue to cover you and your families. Thank you for your time, and may you all have a Merry Christmas and Happy New Year.
Jamie Patrone. And then Reagan Costello White and Daniel Bynum.
Good evening, Chairman Hudson, members of the board, and Superintendent Nicely. I want to start out by expressing how thankful I am to have a constitutionally protected right to voice my thoughts from a biblical Christian worldview in a public forum such as this. I am also grateful that I live in a state that has enshrined parental rights as a fundamental right in state code. And lastly, I'm thankful and appreciative that we have a school board in Roanoke County that aligns its policies with state law and upholds the rights of parents to direct the upbringing, education, and care of their children. With the adoption of the school and classroom displays and transgender student support policies, you did just that. As you continue to face opposition for taking stances that align with righteousness and the rule of law in Virginia, please know that I am praying for you and your family, and those in my circle are praying for you and your families as well. I know that you're aware that prayer is powerful and effective. According to Isaiah 55:11, God promises that His word will not return void. It will accomplish what it sets out to do. And with the time I have left, I want to pray some of God's promises over you and the board. As you lead this board in the upcoming year and beyond, I pray your righteousness will go before you, leading you into peace and prosperity, and the glory of the Lord will be your rear guard, according to Isaiah 58:8. For every decision you make, task you attend to, and interaction you have, I pray as Isaiah 11:1-3 over you and the board, that the Spirit of the Lord would rest upon you, the Spirit of wisdom and understanding, the Spirit of counsel and strength, the Spirit of knowledge, and the fear of the Lord. I pray 3 John 1:2 over you, the board, and your families, that you prosper in all things and be in good health just as your soul prospers. I pray God's promise in Psalm 91 over you, that no evil will befall you, nor will any plague come near your dwelling, that God will give His angels charge over you to keep you in all your ways. I pray that God's perfect peace will guard your hearts and minds in Christ Jesus, according to Philippians 4:7. And I pray, according to Psalm 90:17, that the favor of the Lord our God would be upon you and the board, and establish the work of your hands. God bless you, and thank you once again for all that you do for the school system in our community. And I also want to thank you, Mr. Ray, for your many years of service. Thank you.
So my name's Reagan Costello White. Hi, board members, Chairman Hudson. And I'm here today to address school safety. And I also just want to say, I think it's a shame that I have to talk to you guys across this podium instead of having like an actual two-way conversation. I believe we have more in common than we disagree about. I know every person in this room cares about Roanoke County students, and I wish there was a way for us to talk through these issues directly. I'm here today to present concerns of 2 Roanoke County teachers who do not feel comfortable sharing their concerns in this setting. The first teacher writes, I was reprimanded by administrators due to coming to speak at a school board meeting. I was told that it could be viewed as unprofessional. The school board states before public comments that staff members have a right to express their thoughts as protected by the First Amendment. However, administrators don't necessarily believe in the rights of employees. The second teacher writes, Dear school board members, despite all that has happened over the past 6 months, I feel that there's another major issue that's being overlooked and not addressed, the state of the Northside High and Northside Middle School buildings. At the end of last school year and over the summer, Northside High got a brand new $1 million football field that was completely unnecessary, especially with all the issues that the building itself has. Northside High currently has many parts of the building that have several issues, such as heating and air conditioning, constantly going out despite replacing parts, and mold issues, sewer issues, rodent and bug infestations, 2 small classrooms, outdated classrooms, etc. For example, 2 of the science classrooms cannot effectively conduct labs due to the setup of the classroom and cannot use all but 1 sink due to sewer issues that cannot be fixed without replacing the whole system. The middle school faces similar issues and are even worse in some places. I know of several classes where there's 30+ students stuffed into a room made for 20. This can create a huge safety issue in the event of a fire or active shooter. There was asbestos found in the nurse's office that they wanted to just cover up. The nurse had to fight to get asbestos removed because it was a huge health hazard, and now the school refuses to replace outdated chalkboards and corkboards for fear of finding more. I feel that the classroom and school environment have just as much of an impact on our students as the teachers and curriculum do. Students cannot learn when they are crammed into too small of a classroom. Students cannot learn when the heat has gone out and the room drops 50 degrees. Even though the county says that every school gets the same opportunity, both Northside High and Northside Middle is seen as the black sheep of the county because of their student population demographics. Northside High and Northside Middle are the only 2 secondary schools in the county that are Title I. I know of many teachers and students who feel they are overlooked simply because we aren't where the money is. I understand it comes down to funding, but why build a $1 million football field and not use that money to update the school? Thank you.
Is it Benham or Bynum? Bynum, okay. After Mr. Bynum will be Judy Flincham and Andrew Jones.
Thank you. Thank you. What a wonderful night. It's been amazing to see so many people come out and honor you, Mr. Ray. And I don't personally know you, but I feel like I just got a good history about who you are and the kind of character of the man that you are. So I just wanted to say thank you for your service.
Thank you.
I come tonight just to congratulate you on a job well done this year. It's been incredible watching you rally all the resources that are at your fingertips through various avenues, whether that's through programs or people you've hired or directed, but it's all for the purpose to see prosperity of the Roanoke County school systems come up to a higher level. It has been encouraging to watch you brave men and women stand in the face of intense conflict and embrace your job and duty, even if you've been called names, had your reputation questioned, and or been maliciously attacked for doing your job. Again, for the greater purpose of protecting our kids and helping them to have a great educative environment. It reminds me of someone else who took extreme backlash, immense pain, and incredulous pressure for the sake of standing in the gap for people who didn't appreciate it. Maybe that's what life is all about after all, embracing adversity in the midst of performing your duty because no matter what may come, you've decided to be obedient to God. I know some of you have publicly stated that you are Christians, and I just want to say thank you. Thank you for your sacrifices. I can see that you have chosen to model your character in these meetings in this year after Christ. May we this Christmas be reminded that we all needed someone to come in and take our place and live the life that we couldn't live on our own, to die the death we all deserved and then raise to life so that we could reign with him. May we remember that no other belief system in this world can answer the need for a life of eternal purpose. No one else has come to die for the sins of humanity. No one else was conceived miraculously in a virgin's womb without human intervention. May we remember this season that if it were not for that baby in Bethlehem, you and I could not have hope for a better and brighter future. I pray for you this Christmas that you and your family would be surrounded by the love of your Heavenly Father this year, and that if you find yourself feeling weighted down by the pressure of this year or the call that you've answered, that you will remember to turn back to the one who came down and put on flesh and bone and took on our burdens so that we could have freedom. I pray as you do that, that your burden would lift and your joy be restored. Thank you so much and have a Merry Christmas.
Thank you, Mr. Biden.
Hello, Dr. Nicely and the board. I too want to thank Mr. Ray for his service and all your years of the good things you've done.
Thank you.
The last 3 years have been some of the hardest for teachers and medical professionals. Both have been subjected to lies and misinformation spread about them by the public and the media. I just want to say I love my job, and I work with some of the most awesome people here at RCPS. I see personally how hard these people work every day, and when they are falsely accused and slandered, I cannot sit in silence. The definition of slander is the action of a false spoken statement damaging a person's or a group of people's reputations. On May 18th, a man who objected to certain displays in the school building stood before this board and called teachers and staff at Glen Cove Elementary groomers and indoctrinators. He went on to say that there were sexual predators masquerading as teachers, and this board sat in silence. On October the 18th, a man stood before this board and accused teachers of grooming and indoctrinating students. He made the statement that they sometimes go behind the parents' backs and encourage rebellion and silence as they indoctrinate. He also stated that activists were parading around and pretending to be teachers. He accused them of pushing a woke agenda, and again, this board sat silent. I have not seen either of these men produce one piece of evidence to back up their claims. One of the 10 Commandments, Exodus 20:16, says, "Do not give false testimony against your neighbors." So, to all teachers, administrators, instructional assistants, counselors, nurses, and other staff members of RCPS, I say thank you for what you do every day to teach and care for the students. John Lewis taught us the importance of speaking up and speaking out when things are not right. I would like to offer some words of encouragement from him. So I say to you, don't give up. Don't give up the things that you have great meaning to you. Don't get lost in a sea of despair. Stand up for what you believe in, because we are one people, one family, the human family. And I'll leave you with a final thought. In Matthew 7:15-16, Jesus says, "Beware of false prophets who come to you in sheep's clothing, but inwardly are ravaging wolves. You'll recognize them by their fruit." Thank you.
Thank you. Welcome, Mr. Jones.
Hello, my name's Andrew Jones. I'm here tonight to give a voice to the teachers who are afraid of retaliation, to the students who don't feel their voices heard, to speak up for parents that believe in our teachers, but question how the schools are run. It is concerning the growing trend to question teachers' motives and pass policies that affect the safety and single out students based on gender identity. Ban books to purposely shelter students from the world they are part of. I fear the control Moms for Liberty has on this board, especially now, seeing how the election turned out. How many policies will be passed? How many teachers will leave or be fired in the name of parents' rights? How many lawsuits will follow suit? How much will this board abuse their power? Or the better question is, how many times has this board already abused their power? And to Mark Ray, thank you for your service. It's just a shame you couldn't stand up for the teachers at the end and the students. That's a shame. Thanks.
All All right, item 6, the consent agenda.
Mr. Chairman, I move that we approve the consent agenda as presented.
Second?
Madam Clerk?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am. So we have no action items tonight, no information agenda, so we move on to our report by our superintendent, Dr. Nicely.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Just a few things. Had the privilege last week to participate as an invited panelist for the Virginia Education Summit in Richmond, and Ms. McCallum from Cundiff Elementary accompanied me to that. And this was a meeting that was put on by the House and Senate Education Committees, and we were able to sit in small group with those legislators and let them know what's happening in our schools and encourage continued state funding and support for K-12 education, and just appreciate Ms. McCallum accompanying me on that trip and that experience. Really excited to move forward with our construction projects and with the new CT Center, the renovations at Cundiff and Glen Cove Elementary. We'll be hearing more about those in the coming weeks as we look forward to getting those underway next summer. It's also been the season of just enjoying lots of different programs in our schools, including music programs at the high school level, middle school level, and elementary level, and other programs. We have family involvement programs with in our Title I schools. I know one of the ones I really enjoyed was at one of the elementary schools where the parents come in and work with the students to write letters, and they get to mail them, and then they also pick out books and have some time reading as well. So it's really great to see those events. Also enjoyed getting into our schools and our classrooms and seeing the wonderful work that our teachers are doing, our students are doing, and just really appreciative of all the hard work that our teachers, our principals, our staff are doing. We see that in action in our wonderful students in Roanoke County and seeing just how they are learning in our schools, as well as just the politeness and the friendliness of our students. I'm always amazed to see that and encouraged. Also want to join in welcoming Ms. Clemens to the school board, and we'll look forward to working with her. I know somebody said about filling shoes. Mr. Reyes will be taking his shoes with them, and so Mr. Clemens will be filling her own. But Mr. Reyes certainly has some big shoes to be taken with him, and so I would like to take a turn to say a few things about him. So as we've heard this evening, we appreciate him as a public servant. I know he does care about the students, the schools, the staff, the families, and the entire community. And one of my favorite activities to do with him is to visit our schools and classrooms, and I know he does that because he wants to show support, encourage the students and the teachers, and celebrate their successes. Of course, as was mentioned this evening, he's played an important role, a crucial role, in the renovation for the Cave Spring High School project, and enjoyed working alongside him with that. But he also cares about all of the students in schools in Roanoke County. Has been a good steward of schools across the district. Mr. Ray's been a problem solver. He's a consensus builder. He leverages his multiple years of experience serving on multiple boards and as a public servant for the good of the citizens and the students and staff of Roanoke County. Also want to join in thanking Mrs. Ray, has been said this evening, for lending Mr. Ray to us for the past 8 years, and thank Mr. Ray for his investment of time and energy and also wisdom on behalf of the students and the community. Thank you for your service. We are going to miss you. We do want to wish everyone a restful and peaceful holiday.
Thank you, Dr. Nicely. Would you like to start?
Is there much left?
You really intermission, so we're now into part 2.
You really want me to do this?
I want everybody to have an opportunity to.
Okay. No, thank you. Thank you. I certainly appreciate all the kind words that were said and all the people that, respect you. And, that's what I've always said. Thank you, everyone, for coming and, exercising their rights, their First Amendment rights to speak their mind. And I think that's what this public is about, and that's what we do. I've always been a person that I felt, that I listen to everybody. I listen to all situations, and I think that's what you do as a public servant, and that's what I whether we agree or disagree or whatever the situation may be, it's important that we hear each other and that we are able to express ourselves. And, I admire people when they get up and speak, because I think I've told this story before. When I was in college, I was in speech, and I know you're not going to believe this, Mr. Chairman, but I couldn't even give a speech in college. Believe it or not.
We've come a long ways.
Perfected that over the last few decades.
And so I really do, I know what it is to stand up at a podium or stand up and give your opinions, and I appreciate everyone that would come. And thank you, everyone, for your kind words. I will miss, being with everyone, and I'll miss my board. And, I've hope we continue to, Shelley, make sure they look out for Cave Springs. Sometimes it gets a little tough up here.
Jeez.
Right, Mr. Greenway? No. That's what we have. That's what we do, and we have, we certainly have that camaraderie. So I am going to miss everyone. It'll be, I might just drive over and sit in the parking lot. I might not have enough courage to come in, but I'll be out there with my vibes, I'm out here. So, but anyway, thank you so much. And I sign out, over and out, sir.
Thank you, Mike. It's been a pleasure.
Thank you.
Mr. Linden?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I truly believe that we've had a great year, and I want to start with some thanks. I want to thank our teachers who go above and beyond and go the extra mile to make sure that the educational experience for our students is top-notch here in Roanoke County. And we don't probably say thank you enough to our teachers, but they are the smiling face that these students see every morning when they walk into school, and they've just done a great job. So our school administrators, I want to thank. They too have helped lead this division. Our bus drivers, our custodians, our food service people, everybody that makes a difference. Central office staff, I can't thank Ken and the staff here at Central Office enough for the leadership that you guys have displayed. A special thank you to Todd Kegels back there in the back, who has taken that position to a whole new level this year and gotten some things done for our schools. And every time that somebody brings an issue to me, and if I pass that along to Todd, it seems to get done. If not that day, it's the next day. So truly appreciate that. I had an opportunity to attend a couple of the band concerts and choir concerts at Northside. It's such a great time of year to see all that hard work, and those students are just so talented. I know a lot of people attend the sporting events, but to go see those band students perform is just so rewarding, and to know that the time and effort that it takes to get to that level, and the performances they put on. I wish we had better attendance at those events. So I want to congratulate William Byrd on their first state qualifying in football. It's hard to believe that the end of the first semester is already here, but finally, just super excited, as Dr. Nicely mentioned, about the selection of the new contractor for the 2 elementary schools and the CTE Center. Was very impressed on how thorough the evaluation process was by that committee. And I want to thank that committee for their time and efforts that they put into that. I would be remiss if I didn't thank the Board of Supervisors again for their $130 million commitment to our schools. And I'm just confident that all 3 of those projects are going to be outstanding, just outstanding projects, and very anxious to get them started. So with that, I just want to wish everybody a Merry Christmas, and hope that everybody gets to enjoy some quality time with family and friends. And to Mr. Ray, again, thank you for making a difference.
Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Shawnee?
Yes.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'd like to thank this board this evening. I wasn't going to mention this, but I'm going to, for changing the meeting tonight on my behalf. I typically keep personal matters to myself. I keep it private for good reason. But when this board collectively is accused of moving meetings for churches to come and speak, in fact, the Holy Spirit moves me. I am battling thyroid cancer, and so I'll be heading down to Duke tomorrow for some evaluations. So churches who are here who feel moved, please pray for me and my family. This is the second go-round that I've had with thyroid cancer. I'll be in good hands. I'm not worried about it. It's a highly curable cancer, but it is what it is, and I just do not want this board to ever be accused of doing something, and when I feel like we're being accused of something, I'm going to speak out about it. So that said, I'm proud of what we as a school board have accomplished this past year. I'd just like to highlight a few of the things that we've done together. This school board believes and will continue to believe school safety is its highest priority. In 1 year, we successfully increased SROs from 10 to 22, making sure we have an SRO in every one of our schools. And I will say that Mr. Hudson and Mr. Greenway led the path on this. I thank you. It was not an easy task, but we were able to get it done. In addition, the cutting-edge Raptor alert management system has helped us from preparation to responding and preparing for any emergency. And I'd like to say that I believe we are well equipped. The school board also believes and will continue to support all students, providing the best quality education possible, meeting every individual student's needs. We've led that way. We will continue to do so by excellent education process of teaching, and I'd like to highlight the just-in-time tutoring program. We are one of the first in the state to put something like that in place. It's been an enormous success. There's testimonials from our students, and I encourage you to go and look at them. I believe that this program, in addition to the new Governor Youngkin's program, all in Virginia, we will see even better outcomes of excellence in our students. We know that when we raise expectations, our students rise to meet them, and when we lower expectations, our students suffer. Our new grading policy that's going to be coming out soon, and our assessment policies that have been put in place or piloted by select teachers and departments are being well received. And we anticipate that our students will be even stronger learners, and they'll demonstrate success not only in the classroom, but beyond. As a school board, we've also led the way in salary increases for our teachers with an average of a 7% increase. We know how hard our teachers work. We support our teachers. We believe they should be respected and rewarded, and they are valued. What they do for our future citizens does not go unnoticed. We are blessed with fabulous teachers here in Roanoke County and coaches who touch our students' lives every single day. Many of them have been with us for many years, and it is a blessing to see them receive these honors at our end-of-year ceremonies. We believe it is because of respect and admiration of our teachers that RCPS boasts a 91% retention rate. That's something this board should be very proud of. Here in Roanoke County, we take mental health very seriously through various programs like Expect Respect, prevention programs, drug and suicide programs. In addition to increasing the number of life counselors, we're providing the extra support that we feel our students need to address those issues and to get them the support that they need. This year, I'd also like to highlight that we've expanded the pilot program for opportunity-ready graduate certifications. After we saw real-time benefits it brought to our students and into the classroom, next year it will go to every one of our schools. If you haven't learned about that program, I encourage you to look into it. Another new exciting pilot program was just announced. It was mentioned tonight and at our last work session, our food donation program, which repurposes and reduces food waste by donating perfectly good food that would otherwise end up in a garbage bin to places who need it, like the Rescue Mission and the Salvation Army. A few schools are taking this on, and I commend the staff for bringing this new initiative forward. It's not an easy task, and they've embraced it. It's important to teach our children how to give to others and how to be responsible citizens. We are leading the way in this regard in Southwest Virginia. I could go on, Mike, but I will just highlight the very best one. I saved it for last. After much debate, and I mean a heck of a lot of debate, time, and energy, we secured $130 million in funding for 2 elementary schools that needed it badly for renovations and a brand-new CTE center, which will be state-of-the-art. The CTE center, it's unnamed though, so we gotta stop calling it what it was, will be the first of its kind in Southwest Virginia. It will provide our students, community, and local businesses an opportunity that is unmatched. Our students will be opportunity ready to enter high-paying jobs, high-demand jobs right here in Roanoke, and that's a big deal. We believe businesses will want to stay, and even newer businesses will want to come and grow their businesses here. And as Dr. Nicely mentioned, expect us to break ground very soon in early 2024. I've said it before and I'll say it again. Our CPS is a great place to learn, to work, to play. Thank you to all our amazing teachers, our staff at Central Office. You guys all do a fantastic job. And without you, we wouldn't be as amazing as we are. It's an honor and it's a privilege to serve with the school board and to work with all of you guys. And thank you for supporting me in my next journey down to the hospital. So thank you. I wish everyone a Merry Christmas, a happy holiday, and a healthy and blessed New Year. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Mr. Shawnee. Mr. Greenway.
Wow, that was a wonderful speech. It almost makes me want to say ditto and move on. But, you know, it does, you know, thinking back to the year and you think, you know, when we were talking about Mr. Ray and the 8 years and all the accomplishments, you kind of lose focus on what we've accomplished in 1 year. It is amazing. And I wasn't going to bring this up, and I'm so proud of you that you did bring up the SROs and the funding. That was so nice and well put. You know, I don't care who gets credit. I'm happy that we're the board that we got credit. But when I hear members talk about the fact that they were so thrilled that they handled public safety and that they got the SROs in the schools, do we not remember a year ago when we were fighting tooth and nail trying to get those men and women in our schools and what it meant for our schools, and now to see the pride that they're taking and the fact that we had to go through all that. If it weren't for the state funding grant, if we think back, if it weren't for that state funding grant, we would not have, we would still be paying for that through education funds right now. And so I appreciate that. You know, warmed my heart for you saying that. And when we change a meeting, I don't think we owe an apology to anyone. You know, we know why we're doing it. We're doing it for the right reasons. Has no pressure groups. Nobody has nothing to do with it. You know, we did it, and I'm sorry that you had to say why we did it. But, you know, I appreciate it. And the food donation was absolutely Ms. Facciani's thought and approach, and staff brought it forward. But that was your idea, and that's something, as we were talking about it, I thought about, you know, what a great, I don't know why we ever missed that opportunity, but, you know, that just shows, and welcome to Shelley, looking forward to you coming on, new ideas. That's why I'll rotate off this board, because at some point you use up your ideas, right? You use up your new thoughts and processes, and it's time for somebody else to jump in and come in with those ideas, and now, Cheryl and Brent, I think it's 2 years now, right? And so, I mean, that's one of those things that, I don't know, you just kind of don't think about, or it hadn't been thought of, and it was something that you brought forward that, can you imagine what the rescue mission and anybody else gets? And you affected that, you did that. And so, you know, that's why, in my mind, we need to rotate off these boards. We don't need to be lifetimers on these boards. And so, thank you for bringing all that up. It was a wonderful recap of the year. And to Mr. Linden's point on the teachers, we're fully staffed. We've got wonderful people. We do a survey. We couldn't do it without these wonderful people. And so, it's a time of celebration for, and a pause in our year of a couple weeks. And, it's a time to reflect and see where we're at and where we're going. It's just hard to believe we're halfway to that graduation point again when we culminate all of the year's wonderful accomplishments by our students. I'll go into a couple things I had. One was the football team. I'll say this, and I don't know why it's always me that seems like that we're getting from this perspective. We still don't know the true, and what region are we? 3, what's our letter? 3D. 3D. That's what I thought, but I was afraid to say it, and then somebody, well, you don't even know what region, which I don't anyway. But we still don't know the true public school champion in 3D. Now, I'll probably get, hate mail and chastised and, somebody, but the truth of the matter is, these boys came from this community. They fought together in football for the wins that they got, and even took the loss, the one loss. But they worked really hard, and it is hard to then have to play a private school. It's just the way it is. Now, if I get sued for saying that, then I get sued again. But the point is, we still don't know the true public school champion. It's just a fact. And again, if that's what it is. But, our team, our coach was amazing. He does things the right way. He incorporates the community with our servicemen and women. And, that's a wonderful, attributes of teaching our young folks what it means to be an American. He's teaching them more than football. And so he's had some lean and rough years in the past 4 or 5 years since he's been here. And it was just so nice to see that team come together with the seniors that provided the leadership and the younger kids and all of that to come together. And I just want to congratulate our football team on a wonderful year. And I know we don't recognize unless they're state champions, but in my mind, they're state champions. Maybe they wouldn't have beat Lafayette. They were a very formidable team, but, they're state champions in my heart. Wanted to bring up another issue that kind of hit near and dear. We heard about the fentanyl issue with, I think it was in Amherst. And it led to some discussion about what can we do proactively? What can we do? Not, that we don't have a pervasive problem that I know of, but this isn't a rich or a poor problem. This is a problem of a young student or a young adult that may, come in contact with a substance that, whether they're taking it, not taking it, whether they're a part of the group, whatever, that you can just be near and it affects you. And I would love, and I want to encourage and push. I would like for Nancy Hans and the prevention group for us to engage them to see if we can have some meetings at our elementary schools. Because if I'm not mistaken, and I don't know the facts totally yet, but were they elementary or middle school kids?
Elementary.
That just breaks your heart, to hear that. It's bad enough when you hear a high school or a young adult that happens to, but when it starts affecting our elementary and middle school kids, I'd like to, I know at least, I hope we'll do it at every school in the district, but I definitely want to push for some type of community involvement, and not that this is anything wrong, because I love that we've done it at some churches that have offered to let that come in, but I don't know if we're not, I don't know if we're advertising or marketing it as well as, but I attended the one that we did at Benton Baptist, and if the community, I think if we understood or we knew that it was happening, or that we, to engage in it, I think we would have had a better response. And I want to do something on a larger scale that gets to the students. that gets to the parents of the students to understand that this isn't a demographic or whatever. It's all kids. And so I hope we can look and engage with Nancy Hans or whoever to bring that into our elementary or middle schools. I think, we talked about it years ago. We've had those programs. We did them at the high school level. I think, it's hard to believe that I think we're skipping some of the very students that need that discussion. I'm not even sure some elementary students are going to understand, that discussion, but the parents certainly will. And so if we can do something there, I'd sure like to. Last, I want to welcome Shelley again. We look forward to working with you. And again, as I just said, I look forward to you bringing fresh ideas, thoughts and processes and the way we can do things. I do think we've got one of the best school divisions in the state of Virginia, and it's borne out through our bubble chart that I always reference that I never have in front of me, where we, have the higher test scores. We spend, we're in the middle, I guess, in spending per student, but we have, the highest test scores in some of the state for all of the state of Virginia, and even back to Mr. Weimer's time when we had that bubble chart. So we're doing great things in Roanoke County Public Schools, but we look forward to your ideas and thoughts. And I know you're entrenched in the community, and that's a wonderful thing. So we look forward to having you. And last, I just want to say Merry Christmas and Happy Holidays. Look forward to the break for everybody. Those in the private sector, I don't guess I'll get a break, but it's a wonderful time to reflect and see where we're at. And we've got a half a year to go, and let's finish strong. Sorry that I took, you know what, Mr. Ray, since you're not going to be here, maybe I have to start having 30-minute speeches.
I yield my time, Mr. Chairman.
Oh, that's awesome.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Mr. Greenway. Serving on this board and also serving this past year as the chair has been an honor. It's been an honor to work with each of you. And Mike, I've learned a lot from each of you. Like has been said before, we don't always agree on everything, but we always listen to one another and respect one another. And at the end of the day, we're always going to be here for one another. And Dr. Nicely, it's been an honor to work with you closer, being the chair over the past year. Nothing but impressed and appreciate the work that you've done. I know your heart's in the right place. I've seen it with my own eyes. So just want to say thank you for everything that you do. Your job is not easy at all. I don't know anybody that wishes to have your job. So, we as a board have accomplished a lot over the past year. I've tried to recollect some of that and jot some of this down. I usually do my speeches without reading off of a piece of paper, but we've improved student scores district-wide. That's been reported by Mr. Williams, Dr. Nicely, multiple times throughout this year. We've implemented inside and outside of the classroom tutoring for our students. I know one of those programs was about $500,000. So I know we have spent tremendously working to get what our children need to succeed and to learn and be opportunity ready. One of the things brought up with the SROs, I'm very passionate about the SROs because the number one thing for me is that your children go to school and come home in the same condition that they were in. Unfortunately, we live in a society now where we see a lot of violence, and that violence isn't just in middle schools and high schools. And with 16 elementary schools, we knew that would be a challenge. And this board, and I'm very proud to say this board, voted to pay that first year. After that incident in Texas, we decided ourselves, because we couldn't get the funding, we paid for it ourselves for the officers and immediately hired them and got them working. And these are great men and women. I work with them. I've worked with them in the past, some of them, and I proudly stand beside them wearing a badge. I feel confident now that we've increased our SROs. Last time I did the math, about 400%. So that's huge. That's a huge thing. We've accomplished major infrastructure improvements over the past year. I know the football field's brought up, and that's a sour subject for some, but we've accomplished a lot more than that, especially for those that are physically and mentally challenged. We've playgrounds, multiple different things in that area. Next year we'll be constructing a new career and technical center. That's huge because there are a lot of manufacturing jobs and a lot of special technical jobs that kids can graduate already licensed. We're working with local businesses to ensure that the programs that will go into this school, they will be teaching exactly and using the same machinery and tools that they would need to know how to use when they walk into the field. Connecting these kids with these businesses is going to be a great thing. It's going to keep our kids at home here with good paying jobs. We've also, obtained the funding for 2 elementary schools that were in dire need, not only from a physical perspective, and some of that was brought up tonight with Northside and some of our other aging infrastructure, and we're aware a lot of our infrastructure that needs to be attended to. But, from a physical perspective, if you go to Cundiff, if you go to Glen Cove, it's very easy to see that, wow, this school hasn't been touched since like 1970 when it was built. It's terrible. But, most importantly, it was an educational need. And that's the most important piece here. We talk a lot about infrastructure. We talk a lot about sports. We talk a lot about many things. But at the end of the day, it comes down to education. And I, for one, could not serve in this position and not advocate to get those 2 schools renovated. There's no reason why those kids were sitting in an open concept classroom, and we know both of the economic background that both of these schools have are it's challenging, and with that comes educational challenges. So we worked very hard for that. We burned a lot of bridges for that.
Yes, we
But
did.
at the end of the day, we did the right thing. Regardless if people are mad, regardless if people are, I don't care what the newspaper says. I don't care what the media says. I don't believe half of what's in it because I've witnessed them lie about this board multiple times. I've even told some of them, don't come and interview me. There's a reason why you can't print your newspaper here anymore. There's a reason why your subscription rates are terrible. So at the end of the day, we've accomplished a lot, and I'm proud of what we've gotten done. And, another thing that's near and dear to my heart, working for a government agency, is teacher pay and a lot of talk about teachers not being happy. I spent 5 years inside of a school, and I've had great relationships with these folks when I was there. I still have great relationships with them. My door is always open, and believe me, many people call me. Many people give me the challenges that they face. One of them is pay. In the last 2 years, we've accomplished 14% pay raises. I wish it were more, obviously with inflation the way it is, but we are doing the best we can in that area, and we are also constantly working to improve the morale in our agency. And like Mr. Greenway said, and Dr. Neitzel can confirm, fully staffed. It's been a while since we've been fully staffed. Roanoke County Schools is a great thing. I think a lot of times the media is only going to paint the negativity because that's what sells headlines. It doesn't sell headlines to come out and say, hey, look at all these great accomplishments that they've been able to do. But at the end of the day, I know that a lot of you disagree with what this board has done according to the state law. And I'll just tell you, I don't hate anybody, and I'll give a quote by Booker T. Washington, I shall now allow no man to belittle my soul by making me hate him. I don't hate anybody. And to the Whites, Dr. White and Ms. Costello White there, I'll be glad to meet with you because you brought up a good point that, speaking at the podium and us not having any type of communication one-on-one, we probably do agree on more than we disagree. I think there are some things that we most definitely disagree on, but you know what? I will sit with you and I will listen. At the end of the day, and I've probably said that 3 or 4 times now, I'm super tired. I just spent the last 4 days of this week in the hospital with my youngest child. So to get to the point, Christmas time is coming. Hug your family, hug your kids. Let hate go, because at the end of the day, we're not promised another day. We're not promised to be here another day. I spent 4 days not knowing how things were going to turn out for my son, and that takes a heart out of a father. So, we had a special ed teacher, Leanne Fisher, at Fort Lewis Elementary School that I personally knew. And I spoke to her the day before she died of a heart attack. 48 years old, something like that. And, this is what I'm talking about. Our teachers every day, we've got a teacher, and I'm going to leave this one unnamed because I'm not sure if she wants this shared, but we do have a teacher from the Glenver community who's been battling cancer for a while now. Is not doing very well. So, Cheryl, I'm behind you all the way in this fight. I'll be here for you and your family. And let's remember what Christmas is about, and let's love on our children, love on our families. And I look forward to what 2024 is going to bring. And Shelley, I'm very excited to work with you. I think you're going to do great. I think you're going to fill those shoes as Mike has done. It may take you a little time to get around and know as many people as Mike, because Mike knows everybody. But looking forward to working with you, and I'm looking forward to all the accomplishments next year. Merry Christmas. Meeting adjourned.
Great speech, buddy.